Every family has its secrets, but when your family is the British royal family, those secrets can shape history. For centuries, the crown has presented an image of stability and perfection, but behind the palace walls, a different story was often unfolding, a story of forbidden love, hidden tragedy, and truths so explosive they had to be buried. Today, we're pulling back the velvet curtain to reveal three of the greatest royal cover-ups, secrets the monarchy fought to erase from memory. What happens when the duty to the crown clashes with the deepest human desires and vulnerabilities? Let's find out. Our first story begins in the tense years leading up to World War II. In 1936, King Edward VIII ascended the throne, but his reign would be one of the shortest in British history. Why? The official story is simple. He chose love over duty, abdicating to marry Wallis Simpson, a twice-divorced American socialite. The church and the government couldn't accept a queen with two living ex-husbands. A romantic, albeit scandalous tale. But that's only half the truth. What was so dangerous about Edward that the establishment needed him gone? The real fear wasn't just about a controversial marriage, it was about politics. Edward held alarmingly sympathetic views towards Nazi Germany. Declassified documents, including the Marburg Files, paint a disturbing picture. These were captured German papers revealing Edward's pro-Nazi sentiments and even discussions of him being reinstated as a puppet king if Germany won the war. During a 1937 visit to Germany, he and Wallis met with high-ranking Nazi officials and were even photographed giving the Nazi salute. To the British government, already on a collision course with Hitler, having a king with such leanings was an existential threat. His abdication wasn't just a personal choice, it was a carefully managed political necessity. The love story was the perfect cover, a palatable public narrative to conceal a far more treacherous reality, a potential traitor on the throne. The monarchy had to erase the stain of his political ideologies to maintain public trust and national security. Now let's journey further back to a quieter, more personal tragedy, hidden not for political reasons but out of a sense of shame. Have you ever heard of Prince John? Probably not. He was the youngest son of King George V and Queen Mary, the uncle of our late Queen Elizabeth II. Born in 1905, he was a member of the royal family, but you won't find him in many official portraits or family records. He was the lost prince. From a young age, John suffered from severe epilepsy and likely had a form of autism. In an era when such conditions were deeply misunderstood and stigmatized, his existence was an embarrassment to the image-conscious royal court. Instead of being raised at the palace with his siblings, Prince John was quietly sent away to live in seclusion at Wood Farm on the Sandringham estate, cared for by a devoted governess. He was effectively erased from public life. The family rarely visited, and the press was forbidden from mentioning him. He was a secret, hidden away from the world. When he tragically died at the age of just 13 during a severe seizure, the official court circular was brief and stark. The monarchy had successfully hidden a prince in plain sight, all to maintain a facade of genetic and social perfection. It wasn't until decades later, through the discovery of private letters and photographs, that the heartbreaking story of the lonely, lost prince finally came to light, revealing a colder, more ruthless side to the institution. Our final secret brings us into the modern era, a story that unfolded before the eyes of the world, but whose full truth is still debated. The death of Diana, Princess of Wales, in a Paris car crash in 1997, sent shockwaves across the globe. The official narrative is well known, a tragic accident caused by a drunk driver trying to outrun the paparazzi. But from the moment the news broke, a darker counter-narrative began to form. Was it truly just an accident? Or was it something more sinister? Diana had become a problem for the monarchy. Divorced from Prince Charles, she was a global superstar operating outside of their control. She was unpredictable, media-savvy, and dating Dodi Fayed, the son of an Egyptian billionaire. In a letter written just months before her death, she allegedly expressed fears for her life, writing, My husband is planning an accident in my car, brake failure, and serious head injury. While official inquiries, including Operation Paget, dismissed conspiracy theories and concluded it was a case of gross negligence by the driver, Henry Paul, the questions have never truly disappeared. The establishment's cold initial reaction to her death, the conflicting testimonies, and the simple fact that Diana was a powerful, independent woman seen as a threat to the crown's stability, all of it has fueled a cover-up narrative that persists to this day. The monarchy's desire to control the story surrounding her life and death was palpable. Whether an intentional plot or a frantic attempt to manage the fallout of a tragedy, the institution's actions revealed a deep-seated instinct to protect itself, whatever the cost. From a king with dangerous political sympathies to a forgotten prince hidden out of shame, to the tragic death of a princess who defied the system, these stories show us that the history of the British monarchy is far more complex and shadowed than the storybooks would have us believe. These cover-ups were acts of survival, desperate attempts to preserve an image of flawless authority. But as we've seen, the truth, no matter how deeply buried, has a way of eventually finding the light. What other secrets are still waiting in the royal archives, yet to be discovered? Thank you so much for joining us on this journey into the hidden history of the royals. If you found this fascinating, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the stories they didn't want you to know. Let us know in the comments which royal secret you find the most shocking. See you next time.